1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. The opposition leader expressed his displeasure that the government is trying to postpone the elections. The election system in the country should be changed. The Minister of Agriculture has advised the Registrar of Pesticides to regulate the selling of pesticides at a higher price by using various names. The health sector has pointed out that there is a risk of spreading rat fever due to the existing flood waters. Health, petroleum and electricity gazetted again as essential services. Foreign news, Putin praises Belt and Road as Chinese President Xi charts way forward. News in detail. Speaker Mahindayapa Abeyewardena has notified in Parliament that the anti-terrorist draft bill has not been included in the parliamentary agenda. According to the letter submitted by the Leader of the House and the Secretary on the last 3rd, this draft bill will not be submitted to the Parliament. However, earlier it was included in the parliamentary agenda. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa expressed his displeasure that the government is trying to postpone the elections. He also pointed out that this violates the mandate of the franchise of voting and it will also violate the human rights of the public. Therefore, the election system in the country should be changed. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that the government is committed to conduct the elections. The government has not cancelled the elections at any means. He also stated that the President is taking utmost efforts to rescue the country from the economic crisis. Minister of Agriculture has advised the Registrar of Pesticides to regulate them at higher prices by using various names. The farmer organisations in Kalpitiya has informed Minister Mahinda Amaraweera due to this reason they are facing many difficulties. Therefore, the minister advised the relevant authorities to look into this matter and to take immediate measures to solve this problem. Stern legal action will be taken against the institutions and persons who distribute low-quality pesticides. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Economic advantages are only being received by the countries that sell war equipment and productions. Senior journalist Mohan Samaranayaka said that as a result, every part of the society and the global economy will have to suffer negatively. Currently, there is a depression and the collapse in the economy is being showcased. This has attributed to the Russia-Ukraine war and the COVID pandemic caused in the past years. Participating at the Subharati program of the SLBC, he stated that countries such as Sri Lanka that do not have a strong economy and debt burden will be affected by the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas. The health sector has pointed out that there is a risk of spreading rat fever due to the existing flood waters. At present, more than 7,000 rat fever-infected persons have been identified. 125 deaths are being reported annually due to this disease. It has been reported that the disease is being increased during the months of March, May, September, October and December, and from the Ratnapura, Gaul, Matra, Kaluthara, Gampa and Kurunagala districts. And that ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Veda Mahatmya.
On to the main news story, a special Gazette notification has been published declaring the supply of electricity and all related services, the supply or distribution of petrol services as essential services. Presidential Secretary Saman Ekanayake issued the communiqué yesterday on the directives of President Ranil Wickremesinghe. The communiqué was published in accordance with the powers vested in the President under Section 2 of the Essential Public Services Act No. 61 of 1979. The announcement comes a month after these services were declared essential services in a Gazette Extraordinary published on September 17, 2023. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Veda Mahatmya.
In Watchlight this afternoon, completing of the mapping activities to renovate the Kohomba Kadira Wever in Galpaya of the Ratnapura district is over 13 years. 1.2 million rupees has been spent for the renovation activities. But the people of the area said, although the political authorities in the area have promised to construct this wever, construction work has not begun yet. This is for the attention of the governor of the Sabaragamuwa province and to the secretary of the Ratnapura district. And that came to you in Watchlight. Moving on to a bulletin of world news. In the headlines, Putin praises Belt and Road as President Xi charts way forward. House speakership up in air as resistance to Jim Jordan hardens. And British tourists among 3 dead in Uganda Queen Elizabeth National Park attack. Chinese President Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin have addressed the Belt and Road Initiative Summit in Beijing. Xi has laid out his vision for the BRI, which he has positioned as an alternative to Western-led development. The two leaders are due to hold a bilateral discussion later as Russia's invasion of Ukraine leaves Putin increasingly isolated. Putin's rare overseas trip to Beijing underscores the strength of the alliance between Russia and China. The trillion-dollar BRI aims to bring China closer to the world through infrastructure and investments. Republican Jim Jordan has lost the first vote in his bid to become U.S. House of Representatives Speaker after stiffer than expected opposition from members of his own party. Despite intense lobbying, 20 Republicans refused to vote for the right-wing Ohio congressman. The Trump ally abandoned plans for another vote until Wednesday morning. Congress's lower chamber has had no speaker since Kevin McCarthy was ousted 2 weeks ago in a right-wing revolt. Without a leader, the House is unable to pass any bills or approve White House requests for emergency aid. That includes potential help for Israel amid its war with Hamas. A British tourist is among 3 people killed in a cowardly terrorist attack at a national park in southwest Uganda, authorities say. Uganda's police said the trio were killed and their vehicle burned in the Queen Elizabeth National Park. It said joint forces were pursuing suspected members to Allied Democratic Forces rebel group on last night. The Uganda Wildlife Authority said the victims were 2 tourists and a guide. The tourists were from the UK, South Africa, while their guide was Ugandan, it added. Back to the headlines of the world news. Putin praises Belt and Road as Chinese President Xi charts way forward. House speakership up in air as resistance to Jim Jordan hardens. And British tourists among 3 dead in Uganda Queen Elizabeth National Park attack. And that ends world news.
Development news.
On to development news. A set of equipment needed for the gem and jewelry industry will be presented to 60 industrialists who are engaged in the industry in the Galle district. The objective of this move is to enhance the export-oriented economy in the country, and that was development news.
Sports news is brought to you by Shakti. Refresh your mind and body with Shakti Energy Drink. 350 rupees only. Available at island-wide leading groceries and supermarkets. Shakti. Taste the power.
On to sports news. The cricket match between New Zealand and Afghanistan teams of the World Championship tournament will be played in Chennai today. This is a day-night match. New Zealand team is at the 3rd place in the points table by winning 3 matches they played. Afghanistan is at the 6th place in the points table, and that was sports news.
Shakti. Refresh your mind and body with Shakti Energy Drink. 350 rupees only. Available at island-wide leading groceries and supermarkets. Shakti. Taste the power.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
On to business news. Emerald, Sri Lanka's leading menswear brand, once again dazzled fashion enthusiasts with their latest AW23 showcase. Everlux, a grand fashion spectacle that redefined the essence of luxury and style, held recently at the opulent water's edge. And that was business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go එකක් තියන youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න. ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගින හැබැයි කරන්න. youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news. The Sri Lankan Airlines was crowned the leading international airline in South Asia at the South Asian Travel Awards in Bangalore, India, on the 10th of October 2023. Sri Lanka further secured the title of leading airline class, business class, at the awards ceremony. Touted as the most prestigious travel industry awards in the region, SATA recognizes the most outstanding performance in South Asia's hospitality and travel industry annually based on the votes of industry professionals and passengers. And that was economic news.
Weather report.
On to the weather report. The intertropical convergence zone, where winds from the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere converge, is affecting the island's weather. Due to its influence, the current rainy conditions of the island are expected to continue. Showers or thunder showers will occur at times over most parts of the island. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters can be expected at some places in the western, Sabaragamuwa, southern and central provinces, and also in the Uva province. And that was the weather report. Prior to concluding this news broadcast, the headlines once again. The opposition leader expressed his displeasure that the government is trying to postpone the elections. The election system in the country should be changed. The Minister of Agriculture has advised the Registrar of Pesticide to regulate the selling of pesticide at higher prices by using various names. The health sector has pointed out that there is a risk of spreading rat fever due to the existing flood waters. Health, petroleum and electricity gazetted again as essential services. Foreign news, Putin praises Belt and Road as Chinese President Xi Jinping's way forward. And with that, we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, and handing over to Satya on the other side to keep you entertained this Wednesday afternoon. Over to you, Satya.